Varity was 22 years old when she arrived in New York City with only a small suitcase and a big dream. She wanted to become an actress, someone who could move people's hearts through stories and emotions. But New York was not kind to dreamers. She had no family, no friends, and almost no money. Her tiny apartment had one old bed, a broken chair, and a window that looked out at a noisy street. Every day she worked at small part-time jobs just to pay for rent and food. Sometimes she skipped meals to save money, but she never stopped believing that one day things would get better. She went to many auditions, waiting in long lines with hundreds of other hopeful faces. Each time she tried her best, but the answer was always no. They said she was too young, too inexperienced, not the right look. Still, every morning she woke up early, looked in the mirror, and whispered to herself, "You can do this." Deep inside, she was scared, but she would not give up. Her story begins with that mix of hope and struggle, a dreamer standing alone in the city that never sleeps. Verity's days followed the same tiring rhythm. Every morning she woke up early, went to auditions, and waited in long lines with other actors. She carried her small folder of scripts and tried to smile even when she felt nervous. Every week ended the same way, another rejection, another, "We'll call you if we need you." Still, she refused to give up. At night, she practiced her lines in front of the mirror, pretending the small reflection of herself was a real audience. Her manager, Mr. Paul, often called to check on her. He was kind, but his voice usually brought disappointment. "They went with someone else, Varity," he would say gently. She always thanked him and said, "Maybe next time." Money was tight. Dinner was often a cup of instant noodles or a piece of bread. Sometimes, she sat by her window, watching strangers pass by on the busy New York street, imagining what it would feel like to be famous, to finally be seen. One night, as she stared at the city lights, she whispered a small prayer, "Please, just one chance." The next day, her phone rang. It was Mr. Paul, but this time, his voice sounded different. Something strange was about to happen. Varity arrived at William's mansion on a cold afternoon. The house was huge and quiet, filled with expensive paintings and the scent of polished wood. When she met William for the first time, she felt both intimidated and confused. He was tall, neatly dressed in a black suit, with eyes that looked tired but sharp. He studied her for a moment and said calmly, "I am not looking for an actress for a film. I am looking for a wife." Verity's breath caught. "A wife?" she repeated, her voice trembling. William nodded. "You will live a comfortable life. You will have everything you want, clothes, food, freedom from worry. You only need to stay by my side and follow my rules." He spoke as if he were offering a business deal, not a marriage. Then he added, "I will pay you $10,000 every month. You have one night to think about it." That night, Verity could not sleep. She looked at her small apartment, her old shoes, and the unpaid bills on the table. The dream she once chased now felt far away, fading under the weight of hunger and loneliness. "Is survival worth this?" she whispered to herself. But by morning, she had made her choice. The marriage happened quietly, with no family, no friends, and no love. William gave her diamonds, fine dresses, and servants who called her Madam. But his eyes never softened. He spoke to her politely but without warmth. His door was always closed. One rule was clear: she must never enter his office. Weeks passed. Verity smiled at parties, pretending to be happy. But deep down, she felt trapped in a golden cage. One evening, at a grand party, a woman approached her. She was elegant but cold, her eyes full of anger. "Hello, Verity," she said. "I'm Jennifer, William's ex-wife." Before Verity could speak, Jennifer leaned closer and whispered, "Do you know why he married you? He must stay married for 1 full year to inherit his family's fortune. You are not his wife. You are his contract." Verity felt her knees weaken. The lights, the laughter, the diamonds, they all blurred. When she later confronted William, he denied nothing. "Don't listen to her," he said softly. But his silence afterward told her everything. The mansion felt emptier each day. The silence was heavy, broken only by the ticking of a clock in the hall. Verity often sat by the window, staring into the dark garden, wondering what kind of life she had chosen. She had money, but no warmth. Comfort, but no connection. Then one afternoon, she met William's son, Pete. He was 27, handsome, but with a sharp and bitter look in his eyes. From the first moment, he made it clear he despised her. "You are a gold digger," he said coldly. "You only want my father's money." His words hurt, but Verity also saw something behind his anger: pain, confusion, maybe even jealousy. Whenever they met, they argued. But slowly, their conversations changed. Pete began to talk about his mother, about how she suffered after William left her. One day, he said something that stayed with her: "My father is hiding something about your past. You deserve to know." That night, Verity could not stop thinking about his words. When William left for a business meeting, she walked to his locked office. Her hands shook as she turned the handle. To her surprise, the door opened. Inside, the room smelled of old books and secrets. She opened drawer after drawer until she found a small wooden box. Inside it was an old photograph. A young woman stood beside a younger William, holding a baby in her arms. The baby's face looked familiar. Verity felt her heart stop. It was her. When William returned home, she held up the photo. "What is this?" she asked, her voice trembling. William looked at it for a long time, then sighed deeply. "That woman was your mother, Brenda. She was an actress like you. She died when you were 2 years old. Before she passed, I promised her that I would take care of you." Verity's hands shook. "You married me because of a promise?" "Yes," he said softly. "But I never meant to hurt you. I thought I could protect you. I thought giving you comfort was enough." Tears filled her eyes, not just from sadness, but from confusion. Everything she believed was collapsing. Pete's warning echoed in her mind, but she no longer knew who to trust. Later that night, William came to her room. His eyes looked tired, but gentle. "Verity," he said, "I never planned to fall in love with you, but I did." For the first time, she saw truth in his face, a fragile kind of love, born from guilt and time. Now she had to decide: would she stay for love, or walk away from a life built on lies? The day of their one-year anniversary feels different. The house is quiet, filled with the weight of unspoken words. Verity stands near the fireplace, holding the marriage contract that once defined her life. The paper represents everything between them, the lies, the deal, the loneliness, and the pain. With steady hands, she throws it into the fire and watches as the flames slowly consume it. The ink fades, and so does her old self. She turns to William and says gently, "If I stay, it won't be for money. It will be for something real." William watches her in silence, then tears his own copy of the contract. For the first time, his expression softens. A faint, genuine smile appears, not out of pride, but relief. From that day forward, Verity begins to rebuild her life. She returns to her dream of acting, this time with courage rather than desperation. Her first small film role brings her joy that no amount of money ever could. William supports her quietly, never controlling her, never buying her love. Their relationship slowly transforms from a business arrangement into a bond built on honesty and respect. Pete eventually leaves the house, furious about losing the inheritance. But Verity does not look back. Standing by the window one morning, she realizes she finally feels free, not because she has wealth or fame, but because she has reclaimed her own life. In the quiet morning light, Verity speaks softly, her voice calm and full of understanding. "I once believed that money could fix everything," she says. "I thought comfort would take away loneliness, and wealth would make me happy. But I was wrong. I learned that love without honesty means nothing, and money without love feels empty. Real happiness does not come from what you have. It comes from who you are and how you treat others." She looks out the window, where sunlight touches the garden she once feared to enter. The same city that once made her feel small now feels full of life and hope. She remembers the frightened girl who came to New York with a suitcase and a dream. That girl thought success was fame. Now she knows that success is peace of mind. Verity has learned that promises made from the heart are worth more than any contract written on paper. She no longer measures her life by money or luxury, but by love, truth, and freedom. The story closes with her gentle smile, her heart light at last. She whispers to herself, "Love is not about what you get. It is about what you give, and who you become." If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more emotional English stories that help you learn English through story and discover meaningful life lessons.